This channel focuses on ideas, and it's easy to criticize that by saying, what's the point? That's not a real solution. And this is my response to that position. It's easy to understand that people will think we need to be doing more and need to be taking action, whether that's protesting or boycotting or signing a petition. But in my opinion, these are all not very strategic actions. We'll talk about strategy in the next video, but for now, I want to address the critique that talking about ideas is also a waste of time. Perhaps a metaphor is a better way to explain my position on this. If you want to build a building, you don't just start building it. You have to design the building first. And that building has to go through a number of people who know about different systems like plumbing and electrical and structural design. You need a lot of people to see the plans for a building before anyone digs a hole. You need a lot of people to look at the plans for the building, to make sure it's sturdy, to make sure that it is waterproof, to make sure that the sewage system is going to work, so forth. You need a lot of people to look at the plan first before we start building it. And the argument that some present and saying, we need to be doing something, we need to be getting out there and protesting and taking action. To me, keeping in this metaphor, that's sort of like just starting to build a wall without an idea of what the rest of the building is going to look like. That to me seems like you might waste a lot of energy doing something that's not worthwhile. The purpose of this project is to make that design. Of course, the building is perhaps a new society, or maybe the building is new types of social systems. The building can be a new political system or economic system, financial system, education system. The point is that before we go and take action to set something up, it's wise to think long and hard about what we want to set up. What kind of building do we want to build? What kind of society do you want to build, and why? Why should it be designed in one way and not another? And sure, on the surface, a lot of the answers are very easy, but the details matter, and the details take time to work out. Another way to think about it is with the metaphor of a map. And if we want to get somewhere, we need to choose the destination first. And that's what this project is trying to do. It's trying to define what is the destination, what's the goal, so that we can get there faster. Because if you just set out and take action, you might end up lost in the wilderness and die. Whatever metaphor rings true for you to explain this better, this project is about designing the buildings so that when people come together to start building it, we've agreed on what we're building. Or when people come together to go somewhere, we know where we're going. There's a lot of problems in the world right now, and there's a lot of people trying to solve those problems separately. But a lot of the problems have the same root causes. And as we talked about in this series, a lot of the problems come back to corporate money influencing our public decision-making systems. Money in politics is a core fundamental problem that is blocking change in so many other areas. And so thinking about how would we design a political system that doesn't have that corporate influence manipulating it would be something worthwhile heading towards. But if we get ahead of ourselves and try to solve the problems in the world, whatever they might be, taking action without having a clear idea of the cause of those problems is going to mean that a lot of people spend a lot of time and effort and money fighting battles that are unnecessarily hard to fight. So the purpose of change ideas is to design the building or to choose the destination. Pick your metaphor. The point is we need to know what we're going to replace our current failing systems with when they ultimately fail. Another problem this project is trying to address is that we as a collective society maybe don't have a good idea of what can replace what we have now. In many areas it's failing us, but there isn't a widely agreed upon alternative. There are alternatives, but they're contested. The other alternatives are often too extreme. So often we juxtapose capitalism with communism. But both of those, when taken to their extremes, are really bad ideas. When most people imagine the state owning everything, that doesn't feel right. Likewise, when most people think of the worst case capitalism and monopoly corporations owning everything, that doesn't seem right either. If we If we let free market capitalism go, we'll end up with one company owning everything, and we'll be slaves again. But if we give ownership of everything over to the state, it could create disasters as well. So that middle ground is abstract, undefined. What does a good society look like if total capitalism and total communism have negative outcomes? We lack a collective vision for the society we want to live in. So that's part of this project, is let's make that vision. Let's make that picture so we can all imagine it. Change Ideas is about creating a vision for a better society. It's about planning the building before we start building it. It's about choosing a destination before we put time and effort into heading out on our journey. And I think there's some value in doing that, because it saves us from building something and having to knock it down again because it didn't work. Or it saves us from heading off in one direction only to later discover that was the wrong direction. We need to come together and take a moment to figure out, what do we want? What kind of society do we want to live in? And let's imagine that together and share that imagination and have a consensus built around it. And sure, there will be people that disagree. No one's going to agree on everything. But I think most of us can agree that what we have now is deeply flawed. So we need to start thinking about alternatives. Perhaps the best system for society hasn't been tried yet. Perhaps we need something new. And for this, we need more than just me. We need more than one person's ideas. So this is an invitation to everyone who is interested in this topic to get involved. I want you to critique my ideas, because I will not see the weaknesses in my own ideas. It's going to take a lot of different perspectives and a lot of different people with different knowledge and experience to come up with a vision for society. That's a huge task. This channel is a few of my ideas, and I'd like to hear what you think about them, where they're strong, where they're weak, and I'd like to hear your ideas.